Hey everyone, I'm Brian with Obedia and PC Audio Labs. Today we're going to talk about making use of layers for creative sound design in Spectrasonics Omnisphere. Now, I've talked before in Omnisphere about how easy it is to browse and find a patch. Browsing and finding patches is real easy to do with the patch browser inside of Omnisphere. So you can find a patch. Once you have a patch loaded, you can edit that patch and you can play that patch. Super easy to do. Now, if you want to make use of a preset patch, that is just fine. But let's say that you want to be able to create your own patch from the ground up. We'll clear our patch by clicking Utility up here and selecting Clear Patch. That'll ask us if we want to clear the patch. Now we have a clear patch in Omnisphere. Now we can start to get into a little bit of sound design. I'm going to look at the Edit tab first of all. And in the Edit tab, I have, again, two layers. I've talked about this in my other video. We have two layers that we can make use of for two different sounds that we can load up into Omnisphere. Now, these two sections are completely empty right now. I'm going to load up some sounds, and I'm just going to load those sounds by clicking on the folder icon right here. And now, again, I can use the sound source browser. So let's say I want to go for something bass. I'm going to go ahead and just dive through some bass sounds here. Now I can just click one of those, it'll load. And then I can play that sound on my MIDI keyboard. I really like the sound of that. It's a very cool bass from the Trillion sound source from Trillion, which is also another awesome Spectrasonics plugin. Okay, so now I've loaded that sound into layer A. And let's say I want something a little bit contrasting to that bass in layer B. I'm going to click layer B. Again, I'm going to open up the browser. And now, instead of utilizing bass, let's find something a little more harsh. Let's look through some distortion. That might be a little too much. That's kind of cool. It's going to make something a little bit creepy. Let's go ahead and use that. So we'll close up our browser. Now we have two different sounds loaded up inside of Omnisphere, and I can browse those by just clicking on layer A or layer B. Now, I can dive in very deep into the control of each of these different layers if I really want to get deep into each one by clicking on the small magnifying glass whenever I see it. When I click on that, I'll see the zoom section for that specific section that I've opened up. This allows me to take deeper control of, in this case, the sound source or some of the other controls that I might be making use of inside of Omnisphere. So utilizing this, I can start to dial my sound in a little bit. I want to filter this maybe a little bit, so I'm going to cut it off a little bit and add a little bit of resonance. Again, I'm creating something a little bit creepy here when you come right down to it. I can choose how much I want to mix between these two patches as well. If maybe I want a little bit more of that bass patch and that bass layer, not as much of that distorted feed me layer, I can just change that under the mix. You can see that allows me to just dial in the level a little bit. And I can change the pitch of each of these different layers as well. This allows me to be a little more selective about the sound that I happen to be creating. And so I can spend some time kind of dialing this in. I could turn this into more of a pad sound if I wanted to by taking control of my envelope and bringing my attack up. So that gets a little bit even scarier there as I start to allow the key to be held as I hold the key down. So this, again, I can spend a lot of time dialing this sound in by making use of some of the sound design features here inside of Omnisphere. And again, my possibilities are limitless. And maybe I want to load up something that is, again, maybe I'm creating a little bit more of a pad at this point right now. I might want to load up some sound effects. Yeah, and that works. And now I can maybe drop that layer A a little bit and bring the B up. I think maybe I might happen to be making a little bit of the soundtrack to Silent Hill right now, but as you can see, it's pretty easy for me to be able to have some fun and start to dial in the sound that I want. And again, because my opportunities here are really limitless, if I don't like any of this, I can clear it, I can load up different sounds. I can also start to load up some effects, and it's quick and easy to load up maybe just some effect presets. And I didn't even have to make any changes really there to the effects that I loaded up. I just used a preset. I kind of like what I have there. And again, I can have a little bit more fun with this by using the orb section of Spectrasonics Omnisphere. Again, I think maybe I'm making some of the soundtrack for Silent Hill here, but it's very fun, it's very easy to develop a patch inside of Omnisphere. I can continue to take this even further with my sound design if I want to, and remember, if you want to get very deep into the controls of many of the different features inside of Omnisphere, you simply need to click on that magnifying glass. That'll open up the zoom feature for that specific section, allowing you to take much more deep control of things like velocity, curve, modulation, filters, and etc. Now, if you're happy with what you've created, you can click up here on Utility, and you can select the option to save patch. And I generally suggest creating a folder for your own patches. Create a folder and call it, user patches. And inside of user patches, just give it a name. We'll call this Creepy Voices, and save it. And now I can add attributes to this if I would like, and keywords. This makes it a lot easier for me to be able to search through these. Anything that is in a red box is going to be required. And after I've made the changes to my patch and I've saved it, I have this patch, I can pull it up later, or of course I can create a new one. So making your own sounds in Omnisphere is very easy to do. I do encourage that you guys have some fun with it and give it a try. Don't be afraid to just mix and match some interesting sounds. And remember, in addition to utilizing those sampled sounds, you also can make use of synthesizer patches as well. So if you prefer to get straight synthesis with what it is that you're doing in Omnisphere, you can. And the cool thing here is that by selecting synth and waveform parts inside of the two layers that I have already done some tweaking to inside of my Omnisphere patch, I've essentially created yet another patch. And I did that by simply moving over to utilizing synth instead of sample sounds inside of Omnisphere. So I've created yet another patch that I can use. I can tweak even further if I want to. I can save this. I can choose not to save it. And it's really easy to do. And again, I can have a lot of fun with all of this by using cool features like the orb feature inside of Omnisphere, using effects, using some arpeggiation, and we'll talk about the arpeggiator in another video. All of this coming together to give me really deep sound design, but very quick and easy to use sound design, especially because of being able to utilize the sound source browser inside of Omnisphere, or very quickly swapping over to the synth setting in Omnisphere as well. So there you have it, guys. That's just a look at how easily you can create your own patch inside of Omnisphere. The possibilities are really limitless, so do have some fun with it. But if you guys have questions or comments, always please feel free to be in touch with me. As always, guys, I'm Brian with OBDM BC Audio Labs. I want to thank you for tuning in. And until next time, happy music making to you, and take care. Today's pro audio hardware and software can give you excellent results if you know how to use it properly. OBDIA can help you to get the most out of your pro audio hardware and software. Why spend your time scouring the internet for answers or digging through manuals? With one quick call to an Obedia technician, you'll be connected with someone who can give you the answers that you need in real time via phone and remote desktop. Obedia technicians are trained in all major digital audio applications on Mac, PC, iOS, and Android devices. Obedia member subscriptions are cost-effective, give you great member benefits, and Obedia is here 7 days a week to help you get the most out of your digital audio hardware and software. No matter what your level of expertise, Obedia can help you to stay focused and productive and get your music back on track. Start taming your technology today with Obedia.